Hi guys, welcome back to Java Interview Buddy. So today we go through real interview questions asked in HCL, and these questions are shared by one of our subscriber Arun Kumar. He has around 3 years of experience, and in HCL there was first telephonic call. It was super easy. He said that he cracked it without any stress. And it was just a 15-minute long discussion, and they asked very basic questions, like there was no tricky question, nothing advanced. And after that call there were two technical rounds, and after that there was one HR round, and finally he received the offer letter and joined the company. In those two technical rounds he doesn't remember every question, but whatever he remember he shared with us. So today in this video I will explain each question whatever he shared in a simple explanation. You can use it directly in your interviews too. So let's begin the video. Our first question is explain your project. So this is a very common question. Like every interview start with this question, and many people struggle to answer this question. So I have created a simple template to answer these type of questions. In that template there are few steps you need to follow, and you can master to answer these type of questions. Like for example, first thing is you need to tell what are the stakeholders of your project, what are the beneficiary of your project. For example, if you are developing a mobile app for a bank, so bank is beneficiary. If you are developing something which process the data for other application, so that other application is a beneficiary of your tool or of your application in which you are currently working. So you need to tell that, for example, you can tell that my application is used by some other application, or my application is used by banking customers. So this is the first thing. Then you need to tell the technology, whatever tech stack you have used in your project. So it can be a REST API, it can be a Spring Boot application. So you need to tell whatever technologies you have used to create that project. So for example, you have used Java, you have used Spring Boot, you have used microservices, or it can be some front end technologies as well, and it can be some tools while developing that application. So that is the second thing. Then the third thing is what is your role while developing that application, your roles and responsibilities. I will create a separate video, detailed video on that, but in short you can say that whatever you are doing you have to point it out. For example, you are working as a backend developer, so you have to mention that I'm working as a backend developer, I create controller classes, I create service classes, I write the business logic. Suppose you are working as a QA, you need to mention that I'm testing the application, I'm doing the testing thoroughly. Or you may be a DevOps guy, then you can say that I create the CI/CD pipelines, I deploy our application. Those things you can mention. So I have created a complete template on that in my interview preparation kit as well. So if you are struggling to answer these type of questions and many other answers as well, you can grab your copy from the description box. Trust me guys, it will help you a lot while answering or while clearing the interview rounds. So those people who have taken this kit, those are saying that they are able to crack any Java interview. So grab your copy now from the description box. Then we move to our next question, which is, can a normal Java app run without JRE? The thing is, a Java app normally needs JRE because JVM is inside JRE and it runs on the bytecodes. But if JVM is packed inside the app, then JRE install is not needed. For example, there is a Spring Boot fat jar. It can run without a JRE separately. Then we move to our next question, which is, what are the main parts of Spring MVC? Spring MVC handles web requests, and it has these parts. Like first one is dispatcher servlet that gets the first request. Then we have handler mapping that finds the controller. Then we have controller processes, like how the controller is processing that. Then we have model carrying data, and then finally we have view resolver that finds the output page for the response. So in the diagram you can see that there is a request, and that request goes to a dispatcher servlet, and then dispatcher servlet find the controller, suitable controller for it. And then from the controller you may have called a database operation or anywhere, and finally you get the model, and that from that model you get the view, and that view is basically a response page, a page maybe. Now our next question is, what is garbage collection in Java? So basically garbage collection removes unused object from memory. It runs automatically by JVM, and it helps avoid memory leaks if objects are not needed anymore. It finds objects that have no references and delete them. So we don't need to call it manually. It works in the background behind the scene. Then we move to a ORM question, which is, what is Hibernate and what are its main parts? So basically whatever you mention in your resume, question will be from that. And if you are mentioning Hibernate, then the question will be from the Hibernate or from the Spring MVC. So make sure you are clear, like whatever you know, mention only those details in your resume. So here how you can explain what is Hibernate. So basically Hibernate is a framework that maps Java objects to database objects through database tables. So it uses entities for table mapping. It uses session factory that creates DB sessions. Then session handles DB operations. And then we have transaction that manages commits and rollback. And it also has some special type of queries like HQL queries for DB queries. It is similar to SQL but slightly different. Basically we don't use select word in that. Then we move to our next question, which is what are the major features of Java 8? So it is a very common question again, and in many of my videos we have discussed multiple features of Java 8. There is lambda expression which has been introduced, then there is stream API, then there is optional class, then there is function interfaces, then there is method references. So each has its own use cases. Like for example, lambda is used to shorten the code. You can use the functional programming. And if we talk about stream API, that is used for processing of the collection. Then we have optional, which is used to avoid the null pointer or null checks. Then there is a function interface which is used with the lambda expression. It supports the lambdas by providing the functionality. Then we have a default method and static method in the interfaces that has its own use cases. Like for example, you have old code and you have to change something. So without breaking any interface, you can add the default method or static method in your interface and use that interface in all the classes which are implementing that interface without breaking the code. So these are the few things you can mention in your interview. Then we come to our next question, which is what is function interface. So basically it's a subsequent question of earlier question, and you can answer this question is something like this. So function interface has only one abstract method. It is used for the lambda expressions, and we mark it using the function interface annotation. Few examples of function interfaces are runnable or comparator. Of course these are available before Java 8 as well, so we can give some example after Java 8 as well, like consumer, predicate, function. These are introduced after Java 8, so you can also give examples like these. Then we move to our next question, like have you used Git and how did you use Git? So basically interviewer want to understand that the person is really working on a real project or not. Whenever you are working on a real project, you must have used Git, Bitbucket, these type of technology. These are the version control tools. Basically it helps to track the code changes, like multiple teams are simultaneously working on the code base, so each can pull the code, push the code, and each will know that what changes others are doing in that code base. So you can answer something like this: I used Git to commit my features and push code to the team branch. Then we move to a very simple question, which is why is string immutable? So immutability means non-changing of something. String is immutable for safety reasons. Its value cannot be changed after the creation. It helps maintain constant data. It is stored in a Spring pool to reuse memory, and it avoids accidental changes in the code. Then we quickly move to our next question, which is what are the access modifier in Java? So this is again a very basic simple question. There are access modifier like private, protected, public, and default. If you use private, then it only means that inside the same class we can use that. And if you are using protected, that means same package and the child class. Then there is a default which is only for the same package. And then there is public which can be used anywhere. Then we move to our next question, which is how does HashSet work internally? So basically HashSet uses hash map internally. It stores its value in a hash map as a keys. As you know that hash map keys are unique, so duplicates are blocked automatically. Hash code decides the bucket and equals checks for the duplicate if hash code is same. So I hope you got the basic idea how to answer this question. Then the next question is what are wrapper classes? Wrapper classes are classes which convert primitive to objects. For example, integer, double, boolean. These are the wrapper classes. They help us to use primitive inside the collections like list or set, and it provides the utility methods as well. So that was all from this interview. So I hope these questions and answer will help you a lot. And if you like this video, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends as well who are preparing for the interviews. And don't forget, if you want to share your own interview experience or your own interview questions, you can share it with me using the form in the description. And also if you want your interview preparation kit, you can go to the description box. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much.